General Bye Bye was put together by Philip, who, after a few unsuccessful attempts, had to face the fact that he couldn't realize his grand musical plan on his own. So, Philip went to look for the only musicians he knew. Jana, a young comedian who often stepped onto Parisian stages, and whose voice would be a better match for Philip's clothes. Manu, a great classical pianist who was specialized in Liszt and Chopin, but had never heard of the Beatles. And finally Etienne, a talented guitarist, whom Philip suggested play the drums because as far as he could tell, it was kind of the same thing. With the dream team finally assembled, they threw themselves passionately into the task of writing compositions, rehearsing, setting up, looking for costumes, and recording, until finally they reached a perfect combination of formidable efficiency and disarming poetry. Paris is a wonderful city. It's packed with treasures for anyone who wants to experience a fantastic tourist holiday, see the landmarks of the city in full scale. But for musicians, life isn't always easy. Finding the right places to perform is becoming increasingly rare. Getting people to move is often a tedious task, and getting paid for a gig usually seems like nothing more than a fantasy. General Bye Bye were sure that their talent was touching the people who heard them. But the Parisian public have the unfortunate quirk of judging things before getting to know them. It's for this reason that General Bye Bye decided to seek out audiences elsewhere by organizing a tour that covered part of France and went as far as Croatia, passing through Italy, Serbia and Austria. Go East! On this trip, General Bye Bye encountered unusual people and places. Their music was enthusiastically received, and they experienced the pleasure of devoting themselves fully to their music. Strengthened by this fleeting experience, General Bye Bye stumbled back into their beds and the vicissitudes of sedentary life, still dizzy from the travel, the music, the landscape and the warm welcomes. After only 3 weeks, the two had got them hooked, and General Bye Bye, once again confronted by Parisian life, after Philip's trip to the New World, more precisely New York and Austin, began to dream of expanding their horizons to an American tour. They would go and breathe the same air and tread the same ground as the great American figures who had so inspired them. Go West!
Of course, you can get the album, goodies, movies, video clip, t-shirts, button, postcard of Paris, but you can get much better. We are ready to make a house concert at your place. We are also ready to cook you a typical French meal from a typical French recipe. And we are even ready to welcome you in Paris and to make you a very, very special invite. So please don't miss that. And yes, you can.